What's up, people? Working on the motor. I'm gonna give you a quick little update on it. Check it out. So right here we got the oil pan, and I took all the bolts out and I already kind of cracked it loose. It's gonna get a little tweaked on the edges. That's okay. So I spray some of this stuff in there, WD-40, put it inside there, kind of wiggle it a little bit, and I kind of push it away and it pops out real easy. And let's take this thing off and see what we got inside here. Look at that. You see inside there, it looks like sketchy from this camera, but it's actually, there's not much going on in there. There's no sludge. I mean, it looks like there's sludge on the camera, but it's actually little bits of moisture and kind of like, you know, chemical reactions happening and stuff from sitting for so long. It's probably sat for a couple of years. And this is the oil pan from the JDM engine, and surprisingly it's actually the same exact one as the USDM engine. Exactly, no difference. My last engine had a difference. You can see the design right there. It's the same design going on, so no difference in the pan. And there's not really anything at the bottom, like there's no metal or debris or anything. It's just kind of like little bits of gunk from sitting, the oil kind of festering. But so I cleaned this pan up already, so I'm gonna use this one and I'll sell that one. I'll clean up and sell that. Here is the inside of the engine. You can see it's really clean. It's like spotless. There's no metal inside the pickup or anything. Typically, these things will crack right here on the edge on some unlucky, owners. So if you have a WRX or an STI with an EJ motor, I would recommend replacing this pickup. Killer Bee makes pickups. They were like the first ones to make really high quality ones. There's a lot of other ones on the market. I chose to go with the IAG model because I like the way it looks and how they put it together. So I'm going with that one. I'm gonna keep the stock baffle plate in here. I may put a scraper inside here, a Killer Bee scraper, crank scraper, to get the oil off the crank as quickly as possible and direct it in here. I'm not 100% sure. I might just leave it alone and just put the pickup on and call it a day, because I mean, it's been working so far. But yeah, there you have it. It's a nice looking engine, so I feel good. The only thing I'm going to do is probably once I get the rotating assembly like together and the timing belt installed and everything, I'm going to spin this thing, the crankshaft, to get the oil through the system and primed. It's vital on an engine that's been sitting for a while, because the bearings, will get kind of dried up, and if you fire it up without kind of priming it first, you can risk damaging the motor. And it's a very common problem when you buy a JDM engine or one that's been sitting like on a shelf for a long time. Basically these things will, the bearings will get dried up, the rod bearings, and you end up with a rod knock on startup, and then you'll blame the supplier, and you're like, hey, I got rod knock on my engine. It's actually your fault. You're supposed to prime this thing. You're supposed to change all the belts and everything, all the seals, because it's been sitting, it's old, and you're supposed to prime it by rotating the crankshaft. I would take the spark plugs out, and if you can, put a starter on it, crank it. If you don't have a starter, so let me explain how it works. I got a video already up on my YouTube on how to start a motor that's been sitting for a while. You can look it up, but I'm going to show you real quick. What you do is you take this off, the oil filter, you fill it up with oil all the way up to the dipstick, right? You want to have the dipstick level at the highest point, and then you take out the spark plugs and you put a socket, you know, this is the way, I'm just going to tell you the way that I do it manually. Put a socket on here and kind of spin it really quick and by hand, and you'll see eventually the oil will actually end up in here. Take it off. It'll end up dripping out of this guy. This is where the oil comes out, on the sides, not the middle, it's on the sides. And once it starts coming out, then that means that the oil has made it through the pump and into the filter area. Then I fill up the filter with oil, I install it, I'll check the dipstick. The oil should be going down. I'll top it off, okay? Kind of like mark on the top mark. And there's two ways you can do it. You can crank it over until you see the oil drop again on the dipstick. I mean, that means that it's getting through the system. Once it drops again, you know that it's made its way to the bearings. Another method is to go over to the turbo, and if you have the turbo drain off or the turbo feed line off, you can take that off and you can crank the motor over until you see oil coming out of there. Then you know for sure that it's made it basically to the turbo and to the cams and all that stuff. So then I'll start the car up, I'll put the plugs in or whatever, I'll start the car, the engine up, run the motor until everything's warmed up, then I'll drain it out. And another thing I like to do is I'll get one of these. See, this is a Neo magnet right here. You can get these at Harbor Freight, you can get them at Home Depot. It's a tiny, really strong rare earth magnet. And I'll put that on the drain plug right there. Put it on the drain plug. And once I drain the oil out, I'll be able to see if any metal sticks to that, you know. But I'll definitely do a first oil change after the motor heats up and get all kind of the moisture and the sludge out of the engine, change the oil. I like to use good filters and everything, good oil. It's just so it's safe, you know. I don't want to take any chances. I'm not rich, you know. That's the quick update. Just wanted to show you what it looks like inside the oil pan when this thing's off. And I'm very happy to say that the engine is actually in really good shape. So my only concern is if if on startup that it runs dry. So I don't want that to happen. Let's see if we can see anything in there. Yep, there's the connecting rod. And let's see if I can see the other connecting rod. There it is, the other connecting rod. Yeah. And this is a coolant crossover pipe right here. You can see the cooling goes up this way, through here, goes this way, goes into the the water pump, and there's the thermostat. And it's got two more pipes. I think they go to the the heater. But yeah, it's kind of interesting. There's another plug right here. Man, these boxer engines are crazy, man. So much going on. There's the valves. Yep. You got the spark plug area and the piston. But yeah, in the next videos, I'm going to be updating you on changing out the cams and grinding out prepping it for the seal, or for the sensor, the cam sensor. But going from the version 8 at 207 to basically converting it to USDM. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. Peace out.